Senator Ned Nwoko, the representative of Delta North in the National Assembly, has made a bold statement by rejecting Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's offer of a Land Cruiser vehicle and 10 million naira monthly. Speaking in Idumuje, Nwoko on Saturday, Nwoko expressed his dissatisfaction with the offer, citing that it doesn't directly benefit his constituents. Nwoko, who recently defected to the All Progressive Congress, emphasized that his primary goal as a senator is to improve the lives of his constituents, not to indulge in self-interest. He believes that the funds offered by the governor should be used for the people rather than personal gain. I am dissatisfied with the offer. I won't accept the offer of a Land Cruiser and 10 million naira monthly from the governor. The funds should be used for the people rather than for my self-interest. My primary goal as a senator is to improve the lives of my constituents, Nwoko stated. The senator further alleged that the PDP in Delta State was focused on self-perpetuation in power, which he said had deprived Delta of real political competition. He boasted that the 25-year reign of the PDP in Delta State will come to an end in 2027 general elections. He accused PDP leaders of prioritizing their personal interests and power retention over the well-being of the people. Expressing excitement about joining the APC, Nwoko criticized the PDP for allegedly holding Delta State hostage for a quarter of a century, claiming that the state had failed to experience the necessary development for meaningful economic growth. Nwoko, who chairs the Senate Committee on Reparations and Repatriation and the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating crude oil theft in the Niger Delta, stated that the PDP's control of the state had left the people with no choice but to endure stagnation. Imagine 25 years of PDP in Delta. There has been no competition. For them, it's business as usual, he said. Contrasting the situation with the political practices in the United States, where power alternates between parties to ensure progress, Nwoko vowed to end the slavery in Delta State, announcing that he had found an alternative platform in the APC. Nwoko believed that establishing a N10m state will free Delta North from the constraints of PDP governance and bring greater autonomy and opportunities to the region. He criticized the state's governance reluctance to support the creation of a N10m state, accusing PDP leaders of brainwashing the people and preventing open discussions on the matter. Despite this, Nwoko expressed confidence that with the support of the APC leaders at both the state and federal levels, a N10m state would eventually be realized, ensuring freedom for Delta people. What do you have to say about this? I mean, a lot of questions in my head, but then let me hear from you first. What's your take on this?
Well, I mean, for me, it's really just mere politicking. There's nothing special. I'm not seeing patriotism or any other kind of feeling or whatever that I'm guessing he's trying to evoke. What I'm saying is just politics of personal interest. It's not special. I mean, it's interesting how Ned Nwoko that left PDP just a couple of weeks ago is suddenly not part of the leaders of PDP in the states. All of a sudden, he's calling the leaders of PDP in the state them. Whereas, I mean, we know that he's one of the major leaders of PDP. He has been, for the how many years he's saying PDP held cap. I mean, he was part of the people that
he was
held
part
the
of
state.
the captors.
Yes, the captors. So I mean, he has suddenly become a hero. Suddenly become a saint or a different from. I mean, it's interesting how politicians can switch. I mean, if politicians and religion, I don't know, there's this connection. How if you this is just an analogy that if you repent, all things are passed away, all things are become.
You're a new.
Once you move into a political party, suddenly, I mean, you can refer to people as them for 25 years. You've been a major leader in Delta State for that number of years.
And you've won senatorial
You have
seats.
been
All your
in
elected
power.
positions have been on
Under
the
the
PDP platform.
So, I mean,
is he removing himself?
That's what
from
he's
the
doing,
captivity
obviously.
Of
course.
He's no longer culpable.
No, he's no longer culpable. And all of a
Interesting.
sudden, you know, it's all personal interest. I don't see any difference from the politicking that, you know, goes on in the state. And it's quite unfortunate. I believe that he's in his right to decide or to choose whatever angle, whatever political party he wants to associate with, whoever he wants to be part of. That is completely his opinion. But for me, I think it's just mere politicking. There's nothing special about what he has done or what he's about to do. I mean, if you check behind the scene, you see that there's an interest, that is driving whatever, this is new move.
What interest do you
well, I wouldn't know. I don't like to.
I mean, he made certain statements. Let's look at probably a statement he made that, when you look at it contextually, you begin to ask questions. Now, first of all, the switch. Right. Let's look at Oborevwori. Oborevwori is a first-time governor. Hoping to go for second tenure. And then, Ned Nwoko is switching. And how many times has he served in the Senate?
I think this should be about the third or fourth. I'm not certain.
So now, if Ned Nwoko is still interested in still, extending his political life, naturally he would want to try the position of a governor.
You said naturally.
Naturally, that would be let's say vice president or governor, naturally, because I mean you wouldn't go lower, you want to go higher.
So is the Senate bigger than governorship?
Governor, the thing is, Senate ordinarily should be higher in the grand scheme of things. That's at the national level. But governors are more like demigods. They are made strong. They are insulated. A governor enjoys immunity a senator does not enjoy.
True.
That's a fact. And they have access to resources and power that the senator does not have and does not enjoy as well. So in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at it from the national level at the hierarchy, you could say the Senate is higher because they make laws that also controls the states in that light. True. However, but when it comes to, enjoyment of that power, immunity, and everything that comes around with it, governors flex more muscles than senators.
Of course.
Senators, that's a fact. So if you're looking at this from that angle, you wouldn't say exactly, one would say exactly, it's not exactly a demotion.
Of course.
So if you're looking at it, and looking at the fact that he defected, and Oborevwori is, trying to cut him by offering him an SUV and 10 million naira monthly.
Well,
I find that interesting.
Another interesting thing is,
and then Ned Nwoko is saying that PDP's reign will come to an end in 2027.
Well, I mean, that also points to the fact that he will not be supporting
Oborevwori. And Oborevwori definitely will need his support because he's a gladiator in the Delta State.
Of course, he would want his support because I'm sure Ned is not the only person, But Ned, I'm sure, it's possible he could be nursing an interest, just like you said. It's very possible and most likely. I mean, from the statement, just like you pointed out in his statement, then PDP would lose their position and APC will take over, and he is moving to the APC. How they intend to do that, of course, is via pushing somebody or him supporting somebody from APC, or he himself decides to go, which is, I mean, it's possible, it could
now,
be the case.
Now, the question would be, who in APC at this point in Delta States would you say could be a possible contender in 2027? Minus Ned Nwoko now, because he just recently.
Yeah, I really can't say. For the APC in the Delta State, there's been a bit of back and forth. They've not been so strong in the state. But I'm sure Ned Nwoko moving to the APC is not the only one. I'm sure that they have a game plan already. I can't really say for sure who in Delta State. I still know that what's his name, the former governor of Delta State, what's his name, Ibori. So I still know that he plays a major part in the scheme of things in the state. So I'm sure that before Ned Nwoko would move there, and Ibori is a friend of the president. So I'm sure if Ned is saying there's going to be a takeover, I'm sure that there's a background play.
Maybe there have been some conversations.
Of course, they definitely,
and of course, one wouldn't expect Ned Nwoko to move. I mean, it's a risk. Actually, it's a risk, political risk, to move from a ruling party in a state to an opposition party that appears to not be so strong as the ruling party?
Well, if you, I don't think I want to agree that APC is not so strong. I mean, APC is also the ruling party if you look at things.
You're looking at federal might.
No, it's the same thing.
There's a difference between federal might and power of
No,
influence.
no. When it comes to the state, Ned Nwoko in Delta State is also not a baby politician. Ned Nwoko is a major stakeholder in the leadership structure of Delta State. He's a major influencer in the scheme of things.
That's what I'm saying.
So him moving to APC, plus, like I mentioned, the influence of Odoagan and what's this other, the former deputy governor after Odoagan. There's a lot of people that are there. The thing with Delta State, there's been this, it's difficult to take away the governorship, from the incumbent, but it's not impossible. I mean, it has been done before.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is a gameplay where the APC at the center has decided to say, look, we need to take as many states as possible. And Delta State is one state that has been a PDP state for a very long time. And I'm sure Ned Nwoko and maybe some other PDP stalwart or former PDP stalwart that has probably moved to the APC, and some APC people have fancied their chances of being the tool being used to overthrow the PDP in Delta State. So I don't think it's surprising that Ned is taking that position. For any ambitious person, any opportunity you see, you take. So for me,
it boils down to the question when you said earlier that there must have been certain permutations and conversations that probably, and probably consultations that also happened before this defection, happened. And, in line with that, that was why I was saying that it's a political risk when you look at a ruling party that is dominant, that has been there for 25 years. They understand the terrain and what to do to win elections consistently over the years, as against an opposition party that is not as strong. PDP in Delta State is strong to have held Delta State's way for 25 years. We can't speak that under that influence under the carpet. And considering that Ned Nwoko, from his speech, apparently still has intention to remain in politics, in active politics. Now, it's a major gamble to move from the one, you're looking at power of incumbency in the states, and the fact that it's the ruling party in the state, to, one would say, a lesser opposition party in the scheme of influence. I'm looking at influence.
No, if you look at the last election in Delta State, I don't think you'd be right saying this. The election was a tight and close election in Delta State. I mean, the fact that the governor was able to come out victorious was the fight that former Ifeanyi fought. I mean, yes, Ifeanyi Okowa, to ensure that
his own anointed.
Yes, it takes over. And it was not an easy fight. It was a very difficult fight. But if you notice something, at that time the presidency did not play any major role. There was no federal interest. Yes.
Well, now you're saying with the backing of
of course.
Of the
and like I told you,
I
told you, the former Delta State governor, what's his name? I keep forgetting.
Ifeanyi Okowa.
Not Ifeanyi Okowa. I just mentioned it now. Ibori is a very close friend to Tinubu. He's a personal friend to Tinubu. I mean, you see him and you see Tinubu. So I believe that one of the things that he would want to do is take back that position of leadership in the state. And having someone like Ned, and I'm sure some other persons would eventually move, back to the APC. See, in recent times, there's been a lot of influx of people from the PDP, the Labour Party, back to the APC. There's a game plan.
There's something going on.
Of course, and you also see that there's some other gathering through from some other disgruntled persons from the APC at certain levels. So you see that there's this movement of, look, it's all about 2027.
Everybody is aligning and realigning.
Yes, and if you know Tinubu, the kind of person Tinubu is, Tinubu doesn't come out to the open and discuss his plans. He's always in the background working, and you don't know that until when the time comes. He's a tactician. He hits you. So I believe that this is what is going on, and I'm sure that more persons are going to be wooed into coming to the APC to support whatever agenda that Ned is pushing. More importantly, he's a bit silent, but it's also important he mentioning N10m state, which is one of the things. He's part of the people that's pushing that in the National Assembly. Exactly. So you see that there's an agenda. It could be that, I don't know the conversation they've had. Oh, look, if it doesn't work out, we're going to have N10m state. If N10m state comes out, of course, who best to be the beneficiary than somebody in the APC? So there are several ways to look at it.
Interesting time. And then, interestingly, one cannot sweep under the carpet the fact that, Ganduje has not made it's been open, it's out there, when he said that APC needs to take over more states.
Okay.
And in the South, and Delta State happens to be within that enclave, PDP has held sway in South states and recently lost Edo State, of course, to the APC, right? Oborevwori, the governor, to the APC, even though it's still a matter of litigation, but it is what it is.
Yes,
for now.
For now,
so
the governor.
Apparently, with Edo State, APC has made a statement that their eyes are
and you know, there's something that is going on that might not be so obvious. The PDP is having an issue that people, for now, people think is a River State issue. There's an issue in the PDP that people do not understand. It has a longer implication.
Probably when we get to the PDP story, we'll x-ray that. I am interested to hear this conspiracy theory that you have, Victor.